Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of Sawdust Everywhere. In this episode, I'm not actually going to be building something, but I wanted to share the project I built prior to my workbench earlier this year. I consider these prototypes because there wasn't a clear blueprint to how I was going to build these, but I did learn a considerable amount along the way. Here are the finished products. These are tabletop vanity mirrors, and this is a rolling wardrobe mirror. The tabletop mirrors are wired with 6 bulbs and a 2-outlet socket. The wardrobe mirror is wired the same but with 8 light bulbs. One of the reasons I built these is that my girlfriend's family owns a glass and mirror company down in San Diego, and they often have scrap pieces of glass and mirror that may have been cut off a larger piece or was blemished or damaged during shipping. So they periodically discard the scraps to free up space in their warehouse. So this tall mirror that we found was approximately 15 inches wide by 64 inches tall, and it was a 1/4 inch thick. It was the perfect size for a tall wardrobe mirror. We found another rectangular piece that we cut into two 24 by 24 inch pieces for the tabletop mirrors. These are some photos of the inspiration for the project. They are portable vanity mirrors that are often rented and used for film and television productions. Oftentimes when you're on location, you might not have access to a room or a trailer dedicated to hair and makeup. So these are simply set on top of tables as a easily portable solution. So when I saw these scrap mirrors, I thought I can probably build those myself pretty cheaply. Here are some rough sketches of how I plan to assemble the frames. First, I needed a way to secure the mirrors, so each frame is composed of 2 halves. My idea was to have 2 channels cut into one half of the frame. One channel would hold the mirror in place and the other would hide the wiring. The other half of the frame would seal everything together. At first I thought using a router would be the best method, but I didn't have access to one at the time. But my girlfriend's dad suggested that we use a table saw to carve out the channels, and I thought that was a great idea. We set the height of the table saw to a 1/4 inch, so the depth of the channels would be a 1/4 inch. The center channel was about 1.5 inches wide to account for the size of the light bulb sockets. The outer channel was also a 1/4 inch deep and a 1/2 inch wide. So here are some scrap pieces of the channeled backing. As you can see, this is the inner channel that holds the mirror, and this is the center channel that hides the wire. You can kind of see the table saw markings there. And the reason for the mitered edge is so that when they're connected, the channel is hidden and you won't be able to see them from the sides, as if they were straight attached like that. And then when the corners are connected as well, the front pieces are straight cut so that there's something to bite through when I'm assembling them. Here's a photo of all the cut pieces. I took a trip to the store to pick up all of the electrical supplies I needed. I picked up some wood glue, some wire caps, 3 switch boxes, 3 on-off toggle switches, 3 grounded cables with plugs, an assortment of wire, black for hot, white for neutral, and green for ground. It's important to have color-coded wires so you're always sure where your current is coming from. I also bought 3 grounded and protected 2-outlet sockets. I went with the protected outlets over the standard outlets because there's a potential for the outlets to be near wet environments. Makeup artists and hairstylists often use hair dryers, straighteners, curlers, and various sprays or products that can short-circuit a non-protected outlet. That's why every kitchen and bathroom should be equipped with these protected outlets. I couldn't find the right light bulb sockets I needed at the store, so I had to order them online. Looking back, I should have ordered everything online because you can find these materials for much cheaper than in the stores. Here are some rough wiring diagrams. The wiring is done no different than if you were to wire an outlet in your home. If you can make sense of my diagrams, you'll see that the switch for the light bulbs will function independently from the outlet. And here's a photo of the back frame with the channeling and the mirrors in place that I first glued together to lay out the wires. You also need to be mindful of the type of glue you're using around mirrors because certain glues can eat away at the backing of the reflective surface. Unfortunately, I don't have any more photos or footage of the build process itself, but the 2 layers are held together by wood screws. It's not the prettiest work, but it does the job, and these things are quite sturdy. And here's a photo of the 3 mirrors assembled right before sanding and painting. I had a very basic knowledge of woodworking and wiring prior to this project, but I made sure to do my research and double check my work to avoid any potential dangers. Some things I would have done differently: I probably would have went with a dimming switch and dimming light bulbs instead of just the simple on-off switch so I can control the intensity of the light. I also would have looked into using better quality wood instead of using scraps because some of these started warping over time. Also, with better quality wood, I would have opted for a nice stain instead of using paint to cover up the imperfections. I also would have went with a nicer looking electrical housing. I went with the cheapest option, but I think if I were to build these again, I would go with something a little more nicer. These bulbs that I got were very highly rated and also very affordable, and they give off a great light, but I'm not a big fan of the logos on the tops. Overall, I'm really happy with how these turned out. If you have an event or a shoot and think you might have a use for these, let me know. They're available pretty much anytime I'm not using them. Thanks for watching. Always remember to wear eye protection and don't overlook hearing protection as well. I learned a lot from this project and I hope you did too. See you on the next one.